Hello students, this is Mr. Boyd. In this lesson we're going to look at equations with fractions. And we're going to focus in today on one-step equations. Before we get started though, let's review what inverse operations are. So the inverse of addition would be subtraction. Likewise, the inverse of subtraction would be addition. The inverse of multiplication would be division. And then the inverse of division, of course, would be multiplication. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to see what operation is tied to the variable, and then we want to undo that operation by using inverse operations. Our goal when we solve equations is to isolate or get the variable by itself on one side. So we want to isolate the variable on one side of the equal sign. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at our first example, number 13 here. So just like we've done in the previous lessons, on solving equations, we want to draw the line at the equal sign, and we're going to keep our equal sign on the line as we work these problems out. So the first thing we want to do is find the variable and ask ourselves what operation is being tied to the variable. So in this case, this is an addition problem, so I need to undo addition. So to undo addition, I'm going to use the inverse, which is subtraction, and I'm going to subtract whatever's being added to the variable. Okay? Now, that's going to leave me with n on the left-hand side, because 1/4 minus 1/4 is 0. Again, we're going to put our equal sign right on the line, and then we need to figure out this problem. 5/6 minus 1/4. Now, the easiest way I know to do that is to multiply the denominators, which is going to give us a common denominator of 24. Then we're going to multiply this direction to get our numerator for the left-hand side. 4 times 5 is 20. It's a subtraction problem, so I'll put the minus sign in there. And then to get our other numerator, we'll multiply the other direction, which gives us 6. Then we'll just subtract the top. 20 minus 6 is 14 over 24. And then we'll simplify that fraction by dividing by 2 on both the numerator and denominator, which is going to give us a final answer of 7/12. Okay? So let's move on to number 14. Now, first thing I see about number 14 that I don't like is that the answer is on the left-hand side. This usually trips students up, so let's go ahead and just move it over to the right-hand side. As long as it's an equal sign, you can just move that thing over there. Let's cross it out so we don't get confused. We'll draw our line at the equal sign. And in this problem, I notice that I've got subtraction tied to the variable. So I need to add 3 2/3. Now, since I'm eventually going to write this next to the 11 over 18 to work it out, I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Now, I don't like adding mixed numbers to fractions. So what I do is I change this to an improper fraction. And the way you change a mixed number to an improper fraction is you multiply the whole number times the denominator. 3 times 3 would give us 9. And then I'm going to add the numerator. Plus 2 would give us 11. So this would be 11 over 3. Now, we can do the same process as before. Multiply the 18 times 3. That's going to give us a common denominator of 54. Then we're going to multiply the 3 times 11. That's going to give us a numerator of 33 for this side. And then we'll multiply the 18 times 11, which will give us 198. Now, if you're a little confused on that, go ahead and use a calculator to multiply. For this lesson, you're allowed to use a calculator. Okay, and then we're going to add those two together. Let's see, 33 plus 198. Now, you could use a calculator for this, but this is pretty straightforward. 8 plus 3 is 11. 12, 13. 1 is 2, so that gives us 231 over 54. 54 goes into 213, or 231 4 times, and 4 times 54 is 216. So 216, I need to subtract that from 231 to find out what my numerator is, because my remainder becomes my numerator. Got to borrow here, so 5, 2 minus 1 is 1, so 15 over 54. This can be simplified by dividing the numerator and denominator by 3, which is going to give us 4 and 5 over 18. So our final answer would be 4 and 5/18. Okay, let's move on to our next one. Here we're adding a negative 1/8, so I need to see this as really a subtraction problem. So I would add 1/8 to both sides to get the m all by itself. Okay. When I do that, again, I'm going to multiply 8 times 24. Let's see, 8 times 24 is, well, whether you can see this, 192. So that's my denominator. Then I'm going to multiply here. 8 times 7 is 56. Now I see this negative sign, so I'm going to put that in front of the 56. Plus, I'm going to multiply this way. 24 times 1 is 24. Now, negative 56 plus 24, those have different signs, so I need to subtract those numbers. So that's going to give me 2, 3, and the bigger number is negative, so that's going to be a negative 32 over 192. And let's see, this can probably be divided by, I'm going to say 4. Let's see if 4 will go into these. 4 can definitely go into 32. That's going to give us a negative 8. And 192 divided by 4, let me grab my calculator again. 192 divided by 4 equals 48. Okay, I see that this can be divided again by 8. So if I divide by 8, then this is going to be negative 1 over 48 divided by 8 is 6. So my answer is m equals negative 1 over 6. Okay, I'm going to leave number 16 for you guys to do. Probably going to show up in the video as a quiz question. Okay, so let's see what we have here. We're going to move on to multiplication and division. So to divide a fraction, you multiply by its reciprocal. Now you guys remember this as keep, change, flip, but really we want to learn our vocabulary correctly, multiply by the reciprocal. Okay? So here I see I'm multiplying x by 2/3. I really need to divide by 2/3. But to divide, I multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal of 2/3, which is 3 over 2. A reciprocal is just a flipped fraction. Okay? That means I'm going to multiply this side by 3 over 2. Now 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 3 is 6. Keep my x there. To do 48 times 3 over 2, I'm going to put a 1 here. So 48 times 3, I'll grab my calculator. 48 times 3 equals 144. And then 2 times 1 is 2. Now let's simplify. 6 divided by 6, that's 1x. 144 divided by 2 is 72. Again, you can use a calculator if you need to. So x equals 72. Okay? For number 18, again, I don't like the answer on the left-hand side, so I'm going to go ahead and move that over to the right side and cross it out so I don't get confused. Here I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal of negative 1/3. That's going to be negative 3 over 1. What I do to the left side, I have to do to the right side. Let's make 7 a fraction by putting a 1 underneath it. When I multiply here, negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. 1 times 3 is 3. W, keep my W right there. Equals 7 times negative 3 is negative 21 over 1 times 1 is 1. Okay. Let's see, we've got 2 negatives here. I missed those 2 negatives. Okay, so when I have 2 negatives, that turns into a positive, and 3 divided by 3 is 1 W. Negative 21 divided by 1 is negative 21. So our final answer would be W equals negative 21. Okay. Looks like all of these are pretty much the same type of problem. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video here and let you guys do number 19 and 20. And I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, you can click the subscribe button on my YouTube channel and get notified when I put out new videos. Have a good day, guys.